welcome. Thank you guys for joining us today. A new experience. Let's all just take a deep breath in and out. Just relax. Did you guys know the financial market stress is equivalent to torture? There's no need to torture yourself. Alright. Feeling amazing today. Today we're going to be talking about zone hopping and consolidation in the market. No consolidation equals no market. I know a lot of people complain about consolidation. Oh, the market's not moving. It's in consolidation. It's been, sitting there in the same zone for the past 5, 10, 15 hours. What is it going to do? What do we do? Right? We've all been there. It happens. It's a part of the market. And without consolidation, there is no market. So, I have created the term zone hopping, where the market hops or jumps from one zone to the next. And upon doing this, the jumps or the hops to each zone are very, very fast. Extremely fast compared to the amount of time spent in that particular zone. So, for example, we could say right here is one large zone of consolidation, or this zone right here. One big zone of consolidation, right? The market will range in this area or consolidate in this zone. This is about a 100 pip range, and it did so for 6 days and 18 hours. So if you bought or sold anywhere in this area, right? Anywhere in this box, if you bought or sold in here, and you're, let's say, a swing trader or an intraday trader, you're going to be bouncing up and down in the negative and in the positive between 50 to negative 50 pips, right? No matter whether you bought or sold. And this, basically this entire zone, is a consolidation area in which the market uses to build up volume or create liquidity. There is liquidity in each zone. So, there is a massive sum of liquidity in here. The market consolidated in this range for 6.5 days, and then in one sharp spike to the downside that took 6 hours, the market completely shifted out of that zone. It was a complete shift out of that zone, and now they are consolidating in this smaller zone. So this was the hop from this zone to the next zone. And then we can expect consolidation in this zone and then a hop to the next zone, right? We don't really know where the next zone is unless we study the consolidation, right? Here we can see in this chunk of consolidation, it looks like the dealer was trapping buyers in this area or in this area, enticing buyers. Look at all these sharp spikes to the upside. These are all enticing buyers by spiking up the market really fast like that. Now there are some sell spikes to the downside, but not nearly as clear as these massive up spikes. And then you can see once it hits the top of that zone, it reverses. So let's say our retail traders had their trend lines at this area, or maybe right here. Upon seeing this breakout here to the upside and the close of this green candle outside of this zone, they say, hey, I'm a breakout trader, I'm gonna buy. They get trapped in that wick right there and in this candlestick pattern. And within this larger zone, this is the microcosm and the macrocosm right here. Within this larger zone, there are smaller zones, right? So here we can see within the larger zone, there's this smaller zone doing the same consolidation, and then a break to the high of this smaller consolidation area, but not only a break to the high of this consolidation area, right in this area, but it was also a break to the high of the macro consolidation. So that's something to take into effect as well. You always have to be looking at the market from a macro and a micro perspective if you want to get the best entry. So you can't be looking at like a 4-hour chart and expect to get a super amazing entry on the 15-minute chart. So we can see once it trapped retail traders by faking out to the upside. Retail traders are now trapped in this small box right here, right? The zone was shifted. Here is 3 days and 3 hours of consolidation. The spike to the high was 3 hours, and the spike to the low to the next zone took 5 hours. Once in this zone, which is still in this larger zone, once in this zone, we had 16 hours of consolidation before one 15-minute candle broke completely out of this smaller zone and this macro larger zone. The macro. So, upon breaking out to the downside, just like this consolidation, fake out to the high and drop, Well, what do we have here? Consolidation, fake out to the low, and rise, right? So it's the same thing. Consolidation, fake out to the low, and rise. It's the same exact concept, only on a larger scale. And within that macro, there's also this micro consolidation, breakout to the low, rise. Then consolidate in the next zone. Mind-blowing, right? You'll get the hang of it, you guys. It's not really that hard once you can see the market from this perspective. It does get quite a bit easier. So we can see there's this consolidation in this area. Once again, 3 candles to the upside, completely breaking out of that zone into this next zone we can see here. This was 4 days and 5 hours of consolidation here, and then in 7 hours there's a 100 pip spike to the upside, then more consolidation, this was a 19-hour consolidation, and then one 15-minute candle spike up 72 pips. Now, what can we expect? We can expect consolidation, right? Consolidation, some type of consolidation within this range right here. Maybe it'll be just a tiny bit. Maybe it'll be a larger bit. Maybe it'll be a large, huge macro consolidation. You never really know. You can only have your best guess by looking at current structure. So this, like I said, can be done on the micro and the macro. On the 4-hour chart, we can see the same thing happening. And a lot of times it is news events that trigger these hops from one zone to the next. A lot of times. Actually, I'd say probably 8 times out of 10, it's a news event that will trigger the spike from one zone to the next. So here, this was Brexit. We can see the consolidation right here for like a half a year, and then that spike to the upside, and then drop into the next zone, right? Wow. This was 168 days of consolidation, then a 300 pip spike to the upside out of the 850 pip range. There was a 300 pip spike to the upside to hit any stop losses of any sellers right before making their move to the downside into this next zone to consolidate. This was Brexit. This big, massive 1,500 pip move in basically 8 hours to the downside. That was Brexit. This break here, was a 700 plus pip spike to the downside out of this zone. A random, completely random. There was no news event for this. They said the cable just collapsed under pressure or something, a bubble. That's what they said. Yeah, right. You know how many stop losses and trapped people are down here and still trapped in this spike? I bet there are millions and millions of dollars just in this small candle right here. And that's really not that small. That was that is about 100 pip move. 100 pips right there. So there wasn't even a news event for this. There was no telling that this would happen. The market just collapsed like that. And you can see after that collapse, they did not go below into this zone because there's already people trapped in here, right? People are trapped in this area. If price comes back down in here, it will give these people trapped a chance to get out at break even or with small profit or small loss. That is the last thing the dealer wants. So what does he do? He swings the market 1,000 pips in the other direction after trapping that money down there. Also, upon doing so, moves from one zone to the next zone. And then here we can see another one spike, one candle, and then that breakout of the zone in one candle to the upside to finish in consolidation up here, and then one candle breakout to the downside, consolidate in this area, and then you can see once again GBP/USD that break to the upside to then consolidate in here, right? And then break out, hopefully to the upside, right? So, looking at the 4-hour chart, this right here was our entry, our buy entry on GBP/USD. We had 2 buy positions right here. We also had 2 on GBP/NZD. But you see how on the 4-hour chart, you can't see the micro aspect. And this is how we get our perfect entries. On the 15-minute chart, on the other hand, you see the little box here. You see that? But what you can also see is this consolidation, stop hunt to the low, and then rise. Right? That's what we're looking for. Those stop hunts like that out of these zones. And then the shift from that zone into this one like we talked about. But without looking at the 15-minute chart, you wouldn't be able to see that, right? So I have a lot of people asking me, why do you even look at the 15-minute chart? Why do you trade the 15-minute chart? It's because it's relevant. It's very relevant. And you can collect thousands of pips off of just the 15-minute chart if you know what you're doing and if you know what you're looking for. So, let's check out Euro USD because it's the same thing, the same concept. Jumping from one zone to the next. And you'll see that a lot of times on the 15-minute chart or in the daily structure, you will see that the consolidation or the zones occur almost always at the same time. And then the breakout of the zone is either in London or New York session a lot of the time. You can see here once again, this is basically the ending of New York session into Asian session, and then the start of London session, New York session, and then the end of the day in consolidation. Once again, to do the same thing, right? It's just hopping from one zone to the next. And we can see here, this on a macro scale. Right now the micro, we can see the micro is kind of hard to see the zones, or hard to see why this broke out so violently here. But I'm sure if we go into the macro, we can see, yeah. We can see the only reason it broke out like that was because it hopped out of this zone. And now, this is the trickier part. Now, it will either consolidate in this zone here, or this may be a fake out, and we may see a drop like this to then finish off consolidation in a zone like this. But we have tools that help us determine this. Some of them are TDI, RSI. Others are looking at previous structures, the highs and the lows. We can see the trap is being made, what looks to be somewhat of a trap. It doesn't look, if we look to the left, look where price is at the time, it doesn't really look like, see the green line right here? This green line is price. It doesn't really look like price sticks around in this area for very long before shifting or jumping to the next zone. So, we could say that this may be a fake out to the upside and the price may drop. Now, looking at the 15-minute, we are still in consolidation. But there looks to be, it looks to be like the dealer is working the high of the day currently. If the high is broken, which it probably will be, it may, very may, very well may be broken. We could see a micro spike to the upside and then that shift to the downside. And this is just, just my best guess as of right now doing this live. Not really analyzing in depth, I guess you could say. But I did look at the daily chart, and it does look like we could see a spike even up into here. It looks like price could be attracted to this zone for liquidity at this moment, because there are so many sellers at the moment selling right now that the dealer has to look for buyers to fill those sell orders. He has to equal out the trading environment, or balance out the liquidity in the market. So this is how he may do so. But this is just my best guess right now. This was basically the video, you guys. Zone hopping. That's really all there is to it. It's a fairly simple technique. There's no special indicators needed. No, just using these little boxes to kind of draw out the consolidation area. But that's really all we're using. So I hope you guys learned something new today. If you enjoyed, please give us a thumbs up. And check out forexcommunity.online. You can type it into your browser right there, and you will connect automatically to our chat room with hundreds and hundreds of traders from all around the world that you can communicate with and chat with and share analysis and whatnot. So thank you guys for viewing this once again. Hope to see you on the other side. Peace out.